Have you ever noticed how the more you try to please, the more you seem to lose yourself? How could giving too much, constantly seeking approval or chasing it make you increasingly distant from yourself? Well, many men have been through this, despairing in every gesture, message, call, and the result, nothing changes. On the contrary, you feel like you are sinking deeper into a vicious cycle, exhausting yourself emotionally. The pain you feel, the frustration of seeing that no matter how hard you try, you can't get what you really want. But what if I told you that the key to this is not in giving yourself more, but in respecting yourself more? That the secret is not to beg, not to chase, not to do everything to be the perfect guy, but to understand what you shouldn't do and start acting with more intelligence, control, and confidence. It's not about manipulating or forcing anything. It's about taking charge of your life and your relationships based on solid principles that will transform not only your relationship with her, but your own way of being. The truth is that many men get lost along the way because they don't know what to avoid. They don't know how to protect their limits or stand firm under the pressure of expectations. They fail because they believe they need to do more, when in reality it's the opposite. They need to stop doing certain things and start making decisions based on what really matters. Now, I'm going to show you the 9 things you shouldn't do. It's not about being rigid or insensitive, but about taking control of your life and your relationships. The time has come to understand how the principles of Stoicism can be the key to helping you change once and for all. Are you ready? Let's go. Let's go to 9 things that men shouldn't do to women. But first, check if you are written to the channel, because here you will learn to master your relationships and protect your limits. Be careful not to be exploited out of kindness. Protect your boundaries and regain control in relationships through Stoic principles. Being kind is a powerful virtue, but without the proper balance, it can become a trap. Imagine a man who, in his eagerness to please, forgets his own needs, allowing others to manipulate his kindness. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic thinkers, reminds us that we must take care of what is under our control, our actions, choices, and reactions. When you neglect your limits to satisfy others, you give up your autonomy and open up space to be explored. Genuine kindness should not be confused with submission. Being compassionate does not mean ignoring your own values or allowing them to overstep your personal boundaries. This is where Stoic philosophy teaches the importance of establishing healthy boundaries. Practicing discernment daily can help you identify situations where your kindness is being used against you. For example, if someone constantly demands your attention or help without reciprocity, it's time to redefine what you tolerate. A classic story of Stoicism involves Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who, despite being known for his kindness and generosity, never gave up his authority or his principles. He understood that leading with compassion required, first and foremost, respecting oneself. Likewise, you can practice kindness without allowing abuse, prioritizing what is fair and appropriate. Protect your emotional and mental space the same way you protect your home. It is not selfish to say no, it's an act of self-care. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This strength lies in the courage to maintain a balance between helping others and preserving your dignity. True kindness enriches relationships, but it only flourishes when its boundaries are clear. Respecting yourself is the first step to cultivating authentic connections, based on reciprocity and mutual respect. Avoid remodeling your life to fit the expectations of others. Embrace your individuality and create your own unique path. There is a common temptation to shape our actions, words, and even thoughts to please or impress those around us. It's a seemingly innocent effort, but it can rob you of the authenticity that makes your essence unique. Seneca, in his teachings, warns us about the dangers of living for others, saying, "If you live according to the opinions of others, you will never be free." When you adjust your life to fit the mold imposed by external expectations, you give up your autonomy and become a hostage to other people's judgment. The price, a deep disconnection with your own values, desires, and dreams. Stoic philosophy reminds us that each of us has a unique role to play in existence, and that living authentically is the greatest responsibility we have to ourselves. Think about a man who abandons his passions, be it art, sports, or the career he loves, only to follow the path that others deem correct. The result is rarely satisfaction. This is because true contentment can only be found when we are aligned with our nature and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, Advised, don't waste any more time discussing what a good man should be like. Be one. This is the essence of embracing your individuality. The world needs your authenticity, not a watered-down version of who you are. Allowing yourself to fail, adjusting course, and trying again are natural parts of building a unique path. Stoicism teaches that we should focus on what is within our control, our choices, our ethics, and our character. Don't let yourself be influenced by external pressures that, deep down, have little or nothing to do with your true essence. By embracing your own path, you will discover unwavering strength and inspire others to do the same. Don't be a copy, be a living expression of your uniqueness. After all, the freedom to be who you are is worth more than any external validation. Hey, have you ever heard about these things? Did you know it existed? Share in the comments if you've already been through this, or if you know the story of someone you know who has experienced this. I will help you in the comments. Don't obsess over someone else to the point that you neglect your own goals. Remember, you are the protagonist of your journey. Obsession with someone can be one of the biggest detours in a man's life. When you put another person at the center of your universe, you lose clarity about who you really are and where you want to go. This type of behavior is not only detrimental to your goals, but it also creates an imbalance in relationships, where the other person becomes a kind of idol and you, a subordinate. The Stoics teach us that the greatest power we have is in mastering our passions, and this includes our feelings toward others. Epictetus warns us, "He who is a slave to his desires is a prisoner in his own mind." When you put all your efforts, thoughts, and energy into someone else, you neglect your own evolution. Imagine someone who abandons their ambitions, be it a promotion at work, the desire to travel, or the dream of starting a business, because they are obsessed with pleasing, keeping up with, or winning over someone else. This sacrifice seems noble at first glance, but it is a betrayal of oneself. The person you idolize may even move away when they realize that you have abandoned what made you unique, your goals, your hobbies, your individuality. Stoicism encourages us to see life as a personal journey, in which everyone is the author of their own narrative. Marco Aurelio reinforces this idea when he says, "It is in your mind that your ability to change, control, and shape your reality resides. You were not created to be a supporting player in anyone's story." By refocusing on your goals, you not only strengthen your own confidence, but you also become a more interesting and well-rounded person. Healthy relationships are born from balance between two people who are looking for individual growth, not suffocating dependence. Respect your desires, make your plans, and move forward, because your journey deserves to be lived with intensity and purpose. Protect your mental health and happiness. Prioritize your well-being over constantly caring for others. Putting the happiness of others above your own may seem like a selfless act, but it is actually a trap that drains your emotional energy and undermines your internal balance. When you neglect your mental health to meet external expectations, you lose control over your peace and become hostage to demands that never cease. Stoic principles teach us that true serenity comes from within, not from the approval of others. Seneca said, "Part of healing is the desire to be healed." This means that caring for your mind and emotions begins when you recognize that you deserve to prioritize yourself. Many men carry the burden of wanting to be the pillar of everyone around them, whether in their family, in relationships, or among friends. However, without taking care of yourself, this pillar inevitably crumbles. Imagine a situation where you constantly say yes to everyone, sacrificing your time, rest, and even your values. At first, it may feel like it's helping, but over time, it creates a cycle of burnout and resentment. You begin to feel used, while others become dependent on your willingness, without realizing how much it costs you. The Stoics remind us of the importance of cultivating the mind and spirit. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." When you set clear boundaries, you're not being selfish, you're protecting your ability to be whole. And by being at peace with yourself, you are able to offer the best to others without losing yourself in the process. Prioritizing your mental health means recognizing when you need to say no, removing yourself from toxic situations, and making time for activities that feed your soul. Meditation, exercise, reading, and moments of solitude are practices that restore your balance. By cultivating your well-being, you not only strengthen yourself, but you also become a positive influence on those who truly matter. Remember, taking care of yourself is the first step to taking care of anything else. Maintain relationships with friends and family. They provide essential support and balance in your life. In the maze of daily responsibilities, it's easy to neglect the ties that connect us to the people who matter most. However, Stoic philosophy teaches that community life is essential for a balanced and meaningful existence. Epictetus stated, "Man is not an island. He is part of a society." It reminds us that while independence is valuable, mutual support is one of the most powerful strengths we can cultivate. Friends and family are the emotional foundations that provide perspective in times of doubt and strength in times of difficulty. Men often tend to prioritize work and individual ambitions, neglecting the relationships that truly enrich life. This disconnection can lead to an emotional void, even if material achievements are being achieved. Remember that a conversation with a friend can clarify doubts you didn't even know you had. A sincere conversation with a family member can provide a point of view that broadens your view of an issue. When you allow yourself to create and hold these moments, you are not only strengthening your bonds, but you are also allowing these people to be vessels and sources of wisdom. On the other hand, Stoicism also teaches us to discern who truly deserves our time and attention. Not all relationships are positive or constructive. Seneca warned us against associations that mislead our character and drain our energy. Therefore, maintaining healthy bonds includes identifying and investing in those connections that promote growth and harmony. A simple practice is to set aside specific moments to strengthen these relationships. An unexpected message, an invitation for coffee, or a quick call can make all the difference. Small gestures strengthen great bonds. By valuing and nurturing these connections, you not only promote your own emotional balance, but you also become a pillar in the lives of those who really matter. After all, no man truly prospers alone. Shared success is the greatest victory of all. Be mindful of how you spend your time. Avoid devoting all your energy to someone else's needs at the expense of your own aspirations. Time is the most valuable resource we have. Unlike money or material possessions, time, once lost, can never be recovered. Stoicism teaches us that control over our time is one of the foundations for autonomy and personal success. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest representatives of Stoic philosophy, stated, "Life is short, and if you are spending your time irresponsibly, you are compromising your own happiness." It's common, especially in relationships, for men to put someone else's needs first, often even forgetting about their own goals. Kindness and empathy can easily turn into a trap, where you end up continually sacrificing yourself without considering the impact of this on your own life. What starts as a small gesture of care can turn into a pattern of excessive dedication, leaving your own aspirations in the background. However, the practice of Stoicism is clear. Man must be responsible for his own happiness. This does not mean being selfish or neglectful of others, but recognizing that in order to be useful to others, you must first be well with yourself. The airplane metaphor is clear here. In an emergency, the oxygen mask should always be put on yourself first, before helping anyone else. By investing time in your own journey, you create a solid foundation of self-knowledge, balance, and resilience. Only then will you be able to genuinely support the people around you, without compromising your own ambitions. Managing time wisely is an act of courage and wisdom, as it requires you to set clear limits and stand firm in your own convictions and dreams. Remember, your life is your responsibility. What you do with your time defines who you are and the legacy you will leave. Keep your past, especially fights, private. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerabilities. The past is an essential part of our history, but it does not define who we are in the present. Each of us carries experiences and struggles, but what really matters is how we deal with them and what we choose to share. The principles of Stoicism teach us that we must master our emotions and focus on what we can control. This includes protecting our vulnerability by sharing only with those who deserve our trust and respect. Seneca, one of the great names of Stoicism, said, "We do not expose our suffering to the public, for it should not be a spectacle to others." And that's exactly what we often forget. Vulnerability shouldn't be a spectacle. Showing emotional scars to those who do not have the necessary maturity or understanding can be harmful, not only to our self-esteem, but also to our well-being. By exposing our wounds too much, we place control of our narrative in the hands of others. In a world where everyone has instant access to social media and communication, it's easy to be tempted to share every bit of our lives. However, this often results in a loss of control. The Stoic understands that we need to discern who deserves to know about our challenges and who just wants to use our vulnerability for their own gain. This doesn't mean hiding who you are or being insensitive, but rather protecting your emotional space so you don't lose yourself in the process. Remember that your story is yours, and what you share from it should be chosen carefully. By keeping certain personal struggles private, you not only preserve your dignity, but also strengthen your self-reliance. By valuing your own journey, you avoid being emotionally exploited. At its core, Stoicism teaches that control over our vulnerability is the key to true emotional freedom. Well, we're already more than halfway through the content, and I realized that you still haven't left a like on this video. This is very important so that YouTube continues to promote our content to you, and in this way we will continue to help you. So leave a like on this video, which is for free, right? Continuing, stop agreeing to things just to please others. Prioritize your desires and embrace the power of saying no. It's very easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others, especially when we're trying to please or avoid conflict. However, this behavior can be a silent prison that limits our freedom and keeps us from our own goals. Stoicism teaches us that we should live according to our own principles, without bowing to external pressure or the desire to please everyone all the time. This doesn't mean being rude or disinterested in others, but rather learning to value our own needs and our time. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and great Stoic philosopher, wrote, "When you get up in the morning, say to yourself, 'Today I will meet meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, treacherous, envious, selfish people. They do evil, but I won't let it affect me.'" In this context, true power is not in giving in to the demands of others, but in remaining firm in the face of everything they try to impose on us. He reminds us that by being genuine with ourselves, we are not responsible for the reactions of others. The power of saying no is liberating. When you learn to refuse what is not aligned with your values, goals, or energy, you regain your time and peace of mind. Often, the pressure to please comes from an irrational fear of rejection or the idea that we need to satisfy everyone to be accepted. However, the true value of freedom lies in prioritizing what really matters to us, without fear of other people's judgment. This principle applies not only to relationships, but to all areas of life, whether at work, in friendships, or even in everyday activities. Being true to yourself takes courage, and sometimes that means saying no firmly and respectfully. By doing this, you build a space of authenticity and respect for who you are and what you truly want to achieve. Don't let the fear of loneliness control you. Value your self-esteem and enjoy your own company, building genuine connections. Loneliness is often seen as something negative, a condition to be avoided at all costs. Society, especially on social media, tends to bombard us with the idea that we need to be constantly accompanied, that the presence of other people is an indication of success or happiness. However, Stoicism teaches us a crucial lesson. True peace and contentment come from within. When we seek to validate our self-esteem and identity through external approval, we are, in reality, distancing ourselves from our own essence. We must learn to become our own allies, not by force of circumstances, but as a conscious choice of emotional self-sufficiency. Epictetus, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, left a clear message: do not seek pleasure in external things. He is inside you. This reflection challenges us to find peace and satisfaction in our own company, without the need to constantly depend on others to feel complete. When we learn to deal well with our own loneliness, it becomes fertile ground for self-knowledge and personal growth. Loneliness does not need to be feared, as it can be a space for reflection, personal development, and building a healthy relationship with oneself. The fear of being alone, often fueled by insecurities and external expectations, can lead us to seek company for any reason, without criteria. This generates empty and superficial relationships, which do not contribute to our well-being. Instead of fearing loneliness, we should embrace it as an opportunity to reconnect with ourselves and appreciate the connections that really matter. Valuing your own company is an essential step towards creating genuine relationships. When we feel internally complete, interactions with others become more authentic and based on real affinities, not needs or fears. Don't let the fear of loneliness dictate your choices or ruin the quality of your relationships. By learning to be okay with yourself, you create a solid foundation for building true connections based on mutual respect and authenticity. Now that we've gone through each of the 9 attitudes that you, as a man, should avoid in relationships with women, I want you to stop and reflect for a moment. True transformation begins when you understand that change is not in what you do, but in what you stop doing. The principles of Stoicism show us that true strength lies in our ability to maintain our dignity, our limits, and above all, our emotional independence. You don't need to beg for attention or validation. You don't need to chase approval that will never come. Don't let yourself be manipulated by the idea that the love and respect of others are earned at the expense of your own well-being. On the contrary, the secret is to stand firm, be authentic, and respect your own principles. With everything we've discussed here, you now have the tools to create a more balanced, healthy, and above all, respectful relationship dynamic. By following these guidelines, you will be better able to choose relationships that uplift you and, most importantly, you will be able to maintain integrity in the process. So, don't be afraid to set limits, don't be afraid to say no, and always remember that you are the protagonist of your own journey. Your peace, your balance, and your happiness are the foundations for any true and lasting relationship. Thank you for watching this far. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue receiving the next content. Until the next video.